As temperatures soar across North India and several other parts of the country, tourists are flocking to hill stations to escape the relentless heat. But the rush of relief is taking a toll on the mountains. From Mussoorie and Nainital to Joshimath and Char Dham routes, roads are choked with vehicles, leaving tourists and pilgrims stranded for hours. Popular tourist destinations are witnessing an unprecedented influx of visitors, turning scenic roads into endless stretches of traffic jams. What was once a peaceful getaway has now become a test of patience. Mussoorie witnessed a traffic jam stretching nearly 5 kilometers. Hotels and homestays in Nainital have reached near full occupancy, while the situation in Joshimath remains the most alarming. A massive queue of vehicles stretching between 25 and 30 kilometers has formed beyond Vishnuprayag, leaving hundreds of tourists and pilgrims stranded for hours. Across these destinations, vehicles are crawling through the congested roads as authorities struggle to manage the surge. The Joshimath region is currently bearing the brunt of the traffic pressure. Long queues of vehicles have been reported from Vishnuprayag onward, with congestion extending nearly 15 kilometers ahead. The traffic jam has now stretched up to 30 kilometers in some sections. Thousands of travelers remain stuck on the route, with many forced to spend hours inside their vehicles. Mussoorie too witnessed an alarming weekend rush. A 5-kilometer long traffic jam persisted from JP Bend to Zero Point on Kempty Road. Traffic moved at a snail's pace along Library Market, Motilal Nehru Marg and Harnam Singh Marg. The congestion not only inconvenienced tourists but also disrupted daily life, with several school children reportedly arriving late to school. In Nainital, tourist hotspots remained packed throughout the day. Mall Road, Naini Lake, Snow View and other major tourist attractions witnessed heavy footfall as visitors poured into the hill town. The famous Char Dham also saw a massive influx of devotees. With visitor numbers rising sharply, hotels, homestays and guest houses have reached near full occupancy, highlighting the scale of the tourist rush. The impact of the tourism surge is also being felt in Dehradun. Traffic pressure has increased significantly across the state capital, with long queues of vehicles reported on Saharanpur Road, Rajpur Road and Mussoorie Road. Commuters face long delays as local traffic mixed with the growing stream of tourists heading towards the hill. Meanwhile, traffic pressure on Char Dham pilgrimage route continued to escalate. While the routes to Gangotri and Yamunotri remain operational, slow-moving traffic and jam-like conditions are being witnessed at several points due to the increasing number of pilgrims. On the Badrinath route, however, travelers are facing the biggest challenge. The massive traffic jam in the Joshimath region has forced many devotees to wait for hours before continuing their journey. As the heat wave drives more people towards the mountains, authorities face the difficult task of balancing tourism with infrastructure limitation. For now, the journey to the hills is proving far more challenging than many travelers would have anticipated. I am, I am joined by Diwan Singh, environmentalist. Sir, my first question to you is, are India's hill station and pilgrimage routes reaching a breaking point due to the uncontrolled tourism and vehicle flow?
See, certainly, these hill stations, these pilgrimage points have a certain carrying capacity and it must not be violated. So it's the duty of the government to calculate, to understand how many pilgrims or how many tourists can be accommodated in a particular hill station or a particular point or in a particular pilgrimage center and restrict it to that. Otherwise, it will create chaos and also harm the environment. See, if you continue to increase the infrastructure, it has a limit. The hill shales which are destroyed for creating roads take at least 50 years to recover, and in many cases they don't even recover. I mean, the hillsides that you see and the continuous landslides that you see in this region, Uttarakhand, that has increased over the years. It's because of the infrastructure requirement to cater to these tourist needs. So these hill stations and the surroundings are now have already crossed their carrying capacity, and this needs to be taken account of while deciding the number of tourists to be permitted every summers or during any season. So these are the things environment has to take the loss in this entire process, and the environment for which the tourists are going there, that itself is suffering now because of the very factor.
Sir, while I
So,
do agree to the fact that you can't stop, like you have to have limited tourists, but you can't stop people from actually going to Dehradun or Mussoorie in a free country. So, why are authorities caught unprepared every summer despite witnessing the same traffic crisis year after year in destinations like Mussoorie, Nainital, Joshimath?
see, I mean, you can't say we can't stop people from coming there. If there's no space there and people are getting stuck for 12 hours, 14 hours continuously, so authorities need to be prepared in the sense that this is the point after which further traffic will only come after 5 hours or 10 hours because you'll get stuck up there. So no use of coming there. So in this sense, they have to regulate the traffic over there.
Yes, sir.
This is the preparedness that's needed. So stopping people or regulating the traffic ends up with the result is same. The people are restricted in a sense, and you have to restrict after some point. You can't have entire population going into the hill station at a point of time because there's no infrastructure to accommodate it. It's not a plain area that you can n number of cars over there or n number of people over there, and you can have enough water availability or other infrastructure or sewage. So things have limits, and this needs to be regulated. And besides this, the government of India needs to also promote alternative tourism, like rural tourism in Haryana and West UP, so that people in NCR can go and enjoy doing agriculture and other spots near the rivers, near Yamuna or near Ganga. So the rush will, the people, number of people going to the hill station will reduce if they find an alternative. But we are giving no alternative in NCR for such tourism activities, and people are forced to go to hill stations. No one would like to stay there for stuck up in jams for 14 hours if they had an good alternatives in neighborhood. So this is one thing, and urban heat effect is taking toll in cities. That also needs to be taken care of. The cities like Delhi hardly have any buffer zones left, due to which heat rises up very steeply. I mean, 45, 46 degrees Celsius is very high for anyone to tolerate. So people are forced to move out. Let's go out, let's go out. And then they look for cooler places like the hill station in Uttarakhand or Himachal. And then entire rush is there. So the heat needs to be controlled in cities like Delhi so that people don't feel forced to move out. We need to create sufficient buffer zones in the city, which is
Yes.
vanishing at a very fast rate, especially in Delhi. I mean, with every master plan, you see the buffer zones are going away. And the lesser the buffer zone, more the urban heat effect generated in these cities. But the planners are not bothered. I mean, this time you see 80,000 acres of agriculture land in West Delhi, North Delhi, and Southwest Delhi is going under concrete under the land pooling scheme. So we are hitting Delhi itself, the planners, the city governments, and then we blame uh, other factors. That's wrong. We have ourselves to blame. Let's make
Yes.
our own climate livable, and then we can think of the hill stations. We are spoiling our own cities and then looking for hill stations. Everybody trying to get relief in the hill station. That's not possible. I mean, 2.5 crore people, if they try to go to hill stations, it's impossible for the hill stations to accommodate. So
Definitely,
these are
sir.
the points we need to think of before planning and deciding anything for the hill station and for the cities so that it can be sustainable.
Definitely, sir. I totally agree with you on this. So, do you think that can better public transport, shuttle service, parking management solve the hill traffic crisis? Is
Yes, these are certain planning preparedness for hill stations government administration to manage. Because if you have certain some system like park and ride, you have a place which is little downhill where you can park your buses and then go in public other where you can park your cars, private cars, and go in other public transport buses to the tourism points. That will ease the congestion there. So these are the methods that can be applied. and other things that you suggested, like traffic management in different other manners, all these things can be done, and some relief can be uh, secured with that. But again, I'll say that carrying capacity is a very important factor that will still come into play after some time, once even that system is exhausted of proper planning, because everything has a limit. So the governments need to calculate.
Now, sir, I want to ask the question of the hour to an environmentalist, that is you. How much damage is excessive tourism causing to the fragile Himalayan ecosystem? And are we prioritizing revenue over sustainability now?
See, your question has the answers itself. Certainly, the government and the people, everybody is prioritizing revenue over sustainability. And that's why the floodplains in the mountains are continually being encroached for making hotels, restaurants, and housing, homestays. So what you saw in Kedarnath some years back, that entire the river took away entire housing from there and devastated, and hundreds, thousands of people were killed there. It was a result of encroaching on the environment. So the environment is taking their toll, and sometimes the environment tells us back, don't do it. Just like the river in Kedarnath told it. They can hitting us to the environment's fall. And we need this hotel section, especially on floodplains and on the hillsides, on very steep hillsides, we need to
Yes, sir.
control that.
Yes, I
And agriculture that
definitely
is being
agree with you.
promoted.
We need long term solutions. Thank you for joining us on News 9.